Hello, everybody. I'm very, very happy to be here, and I'm very happy that there were a few talks before me that talked about things that I'm going to say in this talk. Let's start with something that probably never happened to you. Yeah. Something that never happened to you. You're sitting in your office, and you are writing your React code. And you are very happy with the performance of your components and your app and everything else. And everything flies on your computer, on your mean machine that you have at your home or office or whatever. And then you ship it to production. So now meet Mark. Mark is one of your users. And he tries to get into your application. And he's waiting. And waiting, and waiting, and he's still waiting till this day. And you know what's going to happen when Mark gets in your application and the loading time is so slow, and he sees all the spinners there that are waiting for the content to load. He loves your application. And you did your best, and you at least tried to ship something with good performance. But now, let's take a look at some comparison of page speed on top of a lot of known websites. On the top, you can see, of course, Amazon. So if those big apps and websites are failing, then you're probably in a good company. Can we do better? Can we have good performance, good loading performance, and good application interaction using the frameworks that we like and probably frameworks from the future, which is what is going to be I'm going to talk about today. And the idea is to make Mark happy, okay, by the end of this talk. So a little bit about myself. If you don't know me, I'm Gil Fink. I'm a sparXys CEO. It's something that I always like to say, but I have only one employee in my company. This is how we freelancers can talk about ourselves. I'm a Google GDE, Google Developer Expert in Web Technologies. It's a word that Google gives me for 4 years in a row. I even wrote a book in 2014. It's written with Backbone.js. Who uses Backbone.js today? Yeah, I thought so. So it is called the Pro Single Page Application Development. It guides you how to write single page applications. Back in 2014, it was great to read, but now you can use it as a stand to your screen. Put it on the screen down, and that's it. Now, let's talk about what we're going to do in the next 25 minutes. So first of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about Core Web Vitals. Noam, the session before me, already talked a little bit about it as well. Then we will try to understand the problem, why all those websites are failing. And then we will talk about Qwik and how to integrate React into Qwik. Okay, so let's go on. First, Core Web Vitals. This is something that Google is using. These are measurements that you are going to use, or they are going to use using their crawler. The crawler runs on top of a lot of websites, all the big websites, and it produces this output of measurement for each and every site every month. So you can see how your website is doing well, or you can use all these measurements in your Lighthouse or in your developer tools if you know how to use that. In a nutshell, the Core Web Vitals are measuring 3 main things. As Noam mentioned, the loading, which is Large Contentful Paint, or LCP in short. The first input delay, the interactivity, how well the click on the button is interacting, or you interact with your application. And last but not least, visual stability, meaning CLS, or cumulative layout shift. the change something in your CSS, calculation of reflow is running, and there is shift in your view because of ads or things like that. This is the idea. So these are the things that Google is measuring and you should be aware of. Now, as you saw in the first slides, a lot of websites are failing these tests. Okay, this is real measurement on top of very known web application and websites. So I'm asking, who is responsible for the slow website? Us, the developers, we're writing React applications. We're doing our best. Amazon, one of the companies here at the top, 67, they have hundreds of developers. Are the developers responsible for that? Is the network responsible for that? Maybe the servers? I don't know. So let's talk about a little bit of measurement and how well all those applications are doing. These are lighthouse scores on top of a lot of applications that you know, Amazon, Nike, Target, whatever. And whenever we are trying to optimize those applications, if you will look at the things, if you optimize images, you get better score, but not such well. If you optimize your CSS, another better score, but not very well. The big issue here is optimizing your JavaScript. Okay? So the JavaScript is the bottleneck of our application. Gil, we are JavaScript developers in the end. We want to ship JavaScript to the client. We want to use JavaScript in the client. This is interactivity. We are creating interactivity using JavaScript. So you are saying, if we are not going to use JavaScript at all, we will get better performance? Yes, of course. But why is that? Why is this thing that is hurting us or what is the problem with all those JavaScript? Okay? This is the big O notation of frameworks. As long as you add more JavaScript, you add more calculation. You add more calculation, you add more or decrease your performance of your website. So what can we do with that? And the problem is, with most of the frameworks out there, it's not only with React, it's React, Angular, even Vue, okay? Or other frameworks that you probably heard about, Svelte, whatever. All of those frameworks are doing some sort of hydration. What I mean by hydration, you probably heard about it in the morning in Gil's talk, in Dan's talk. Hydration is the process that you need to build the entire application, entire component structure, in order to wire all the event listeners in the end. And now, if you're doing SSR, server-side rendering, you're building the entire application in the server, you ship the HTML, and then you need to build an entire application in the client side to wire the event handlers. Cool. This is the process that sucks a lot of our performance, decrease the performance of the application. This is why applications aren't responsive immediately when they are being loaded. Now let's talk about something else. Let's talk about resumability. Resumability is a new concept. The idea is use the SSR, use server-side rendering, ship the content to the server, and only load JavaScript when it is needed. I'm pausing the application, I'm shipping it like a virtual machine to another place, and the application starts instantly without the cost of hydration. And the interactivity is being gained by loading or lazy loading the JavaScript itself. So what you're doing is, behind the scene, frameworks like Qwik, for example, are going to prefetch JavaScript for you and use or load or run the JavaScript only whenever it is being needed. It's being done in several service workers and things like that, so it can be very helpful. Now, by doing that, you are moving the cost of, or the decrease of the performance of your application from the client side, and you will get better page speed ranks. So with that, I'm going to start with a small demo to show you Qwik. Qwik is a resumability framework that was created by a bunch of very known architects and developers. One of them is Mishko Hervey, the person who is responsible for AngularJS. Adam Bradley, the person who is responsible for Stencil and Ionic. And Manu, which is also someone who is building frameworks in the past. All of those three, combined with others like, for example, Yoav, raise your hand here, are building Qwik, and there is a lot of firepower there. So whenever you want to start using Qwik, you will run npm create Qwik at latest to get the latest bits and bytes of Qwik. And I'm not going to run this because I don't want you to wait for a lot of time for npm installs and everything else. I already did that for you, but remember npm create Qwik, and you will get this starter application. So if you will look at the code here, it will resemble React very, very hard. Qwik is using TypeScript and JSX. A lot of things that you're currently doing in React development, you're already doing in Qwik. You will have to learn a little bit about the API, and this is the idea of wrapping a component with a component $. Okay, this is a wrapper for Qwik saying this is going to be a Qwik component. Now, what is the gain of using something like Qwik? So let's take a look at this application. Okay, we have here an application, and I'm going to open the developer tools and I'm going to refresh the page. The only things that were loaded, because I'm not running in incognito mode, are Axe, which is a extension, browser extension, and Highlighter, which is being used by Qwik for development in order to highlight some stuff. There is no JavaScript here. What is going to happen when I will click on Time to Celebrate? Let's fold this a little bit so you will see. Okay, I clicked on it. There was interaction. There was loading of the code for this event handler, or the button event handler, and another library called Confetti was loaded to show you the confetti. Ooh. So what is Qwik is doing is, whenever I use interactivity, only then lazy load the code. Meaning that when the application loaded, no JavaScript was loaded with it. So the application starts immediately without any hydration or anything else. Now, let's build a small Qwik component and let's do it. Let's write a button. Okay, so here's my button, a Qwik component. You can see here component $, which means that this is going to be a component written in Qwik. We have here the props. We return JSX with the button. On-click $, means this is the place that is going to be the interactivity. Remember the $, because I'm going to mention it in a second. And some, I don't know, console.log, which is what I'm going to do. Now, let's use this component. Let's use my component, and let's do click me. And let's save it. We have loading here, and hey, again, network is empty except of the extensions. Let's click on the button, click. The code that I wrote loaded, and in the console we have clicked. Cool. Now, what I said about the $sign is Qwik is very smart. You have in Qwik something that is called the Qwik optimizer. The idea of Qwik optimizer is to know, or to take all the places where $sign is there and break the entire application into small JavaScript files. Okay, so whenever I put on click I'm saying to the optimizer, this is somewhere that you should take to outside and put it in a different file. Now, you can say, okay, the interactivity, how it runs very fast. Again, service worker on the deployment site is going to do that for you. It is going to lazy load or prefetch the entire JavaScript code. You can customize how it works, which is very, very cool, because if you see in your analytics that users are interacting when the page is loading with some button, you will say to the Qwik optimizer, I want that code for the button to be prefetched before other stuff. And this makes Qwik so good at what it's doing. Now, let's move on. We're in a React conference, and React has huge ecosystem. Qwik version 1 was shipped 1.5 months ago. So React has a huge ecosystem, a huge community. And Qwik has a small community, unfortunately. And this is a very big advantage for React. Why should I go the Qwik way? So what I'm saying is, let's combine the powers of React and Qwik. How we can do that? Islands of iteration. Again, Dan talked about it in his talk. How that is going to work? I'm going to create an application with Qwik to gain all the good performance that Qwik offers you. And when I want to use React component, I will be able to do that. How I can do that? Qwik-React is a package inside of Qwik framework that can give you the ability to wrap React components inside Qwik and make them feel and look like a Qwik component. Underneath, they will go the hydration way and the performance, but you will gain the lazy loading ability of Qwik out of hand. Now, let's see it in action. In my application, I'm going to run the following. Not this, npm run Qwik add React. Run the integration for React. It can take a few seconds. Okay. Yes, good, finish, update, yes. Updating the app, install all the dependencies, and once that is over, what we'll have, hopefully in 20 seconds, okay, let's close that, is the following. You can see here a new folder inside the Qwik application with something called integration. And under that, you have MUI, okay? I'm going to use Material UI inside a Qwik application. We all love Material UI, yeah. So once we have that, I can run the application again and go to the app and go to the endpoint called React. And now Qwik is going to run the React components there inside, inside your Qwik application, of course. Now, it takes some time because I'm in development mode. There is compilation. This thing won't happen in production, okay? Now, we have some interactivity that can be used. For example, I clicked on this button. I'm running the slider here. I'm showing a MUI table. Okay, it's not shown. It's very black here. Okay, here it is. Believe me, it's a MUI table. I haven't created this CSS with all this background. Now, you probably ask yourself, how can I do it by myself? So let's create a new file. Let's call it stepper. And it's going to be a JSX file. And let's do it this thing here. Here is the recipe for wrapping React components inside Qwik. First of all, you need to have this interaction to say to the Qwik optimizer or Qwik build, hey, Qwik, this is going to be a React component. So this line, this JSX import source is something that you have to have. You write your React code here. This is the React code for horizontal linear stepper that I created. Okay, this is eventually a React component. And in the end, you are using the Qwik-ify function from the Qwik framework in order to wrap the React component. And you say in the options, what is the interactivity or the eagerness that you wish for. It can be whenever the application is idle, or if I hover over the stepper, then load the content, or things like that. So I will save that, and I will create a new route in my application. Let's call it stepper. And like Next and the other frameworks, Qwik routing is being done in convention. So the convention is put a folder inside routes and put an index file here. And let's do this. This is going to be the route, the new route that I'm creating with my Qwik horizontal linear stepper with some content. Okay, and that's it. Now, if I will go to stepper, hey, we have a React stepper inside my Qwik application, and it works. Cool. So it was very easy to wrap everything up inside Qwik. Now, recap. In order to create a Qwik wrapper on top of React, you have the following. You need to do the following. First of all, don't forget the JSX import source to direct the optimizer, the Qwik optimizer, to do or to load things as React component. You wrap the component with the Qwik-ify function. You say to that Qwik-ify function what type of eagerness you want to do. I didn't show you, but in developer tools, I could have helped in developer tools show you that only when I hover on top of the stepper, it's loading the stepper content or the stepper JavaScript. You can also use the ability of attributes in order to say to the consumed component the same thing. Pick whatever you like, either in the Qwik-ify function or attribute on the component that you're using. And if you want to interact with the component itself, it's like any other component. Pass props or events out. That's it. Now, you're a React developer. Why should you care about Qwik? The first thing is it's going to be the performance, okay? React is performing very, very well, but it could have been better. Qwik is a new framework that the performance is built inside the framework, and you get both performance and developer experience from the framework. And this is something that you won't get from React, or you will have to do a lot of manipulation on top of React in order to optimize your code. Meaning use memo, use callback, other optimizations that you probably do in order to make the React application run faster. Another thing here, which is I'm afraid to do it in a React conference, is it's a migration path to Qwik. If you want to migrate to Qwik from React, you start like I showed you with islands of hydration, island of with the entire application, and then you move on and you remove the React components and you change them to Qwik components. So with that, make your application resumable, hopefully with Qwik. Make the application quick. Make Mark happy with your better performance. Thank you.